In this video, we're going to be talking about organizing your Gmail so that you can use it to its full potential and most efficiently for yourself. We're going to talk about how we can label and filter and also change our settings for when we access our inbox. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure I'm in my correct account, so .org. I can click the mail link or the Google Apps icons, and I can click on my mail icon. Now, interesting side note, if you don't like the placement of a certain app in order that it appears, you can drag and drop it. You can also do this with the lower ones. So if I want to bring groups up here and knock YouTube a little bit lower, I can by dragging and dropping. I'm going to click the mail icon and I'm going to let it load. And the first thing I'm going to do is I notice all of my inbox is just kind of grouped together. Read, unread, it's all a big hodgepodge. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to my settings and click settings. Now there's other options within this. I can do my display, configure my inbox, I can do some add-ons or themes, but I'm going to click settings for now. Once I've clicked settings, I'm given the choice of going to labels actually within this option, or I can go over here with it, but I'm actually going to go straight to inbox. Now, by default, what Google does is just kind of meshes all of your messages together. You have several other options though. Anything that you mark important would immediately come first in your inbox. You could do anything that's unread goes to the top of your inbox so you see it first. Anything you star goes to the top of your inbox so you see it first. Or priority, which uses some fancy Google magic to say, oh, I've noticed patterns in what you mark important and what you star. I think this is a priority. It's going to go to the top. For myself, I'm going to do unread first. Now, what this allows me to do is anything I mark unread, even if I did read it, will live at the top of my inbox. So I click it, and this is one of the things in Google that you do have to save changes to. It is rare, but it's there. So save changes. And now if I scroll down, my inbox has been organized to where my read messages are at the bottom and my unread are left at the top. Moving on from this view, I'm going to talk about labels and filters. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this label just so I can walk through it with you. So I don't two-finger click or right click, but actually click on the arrow and you're going to remove a label. It'll ask you to confirm this. I'm going to say delete, and it removes that label and any other labels you've nested under it. So I've removed that. I have several options for adding labels. I can add create new label right here, which is another way to save folder. So Google Realm, we say label. You can do that here. You could do it over on the side underneath settings. And we click labels, and then you can play with them, show certain ones, hide certain ones, what have you. You could also come up to the top and create labels here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just create one label on the side. I'm going to call this one label Google, because the majority of my inbox when I view it are Google emails dealing with students. Now, one of the things I can do is instead of manually selecting and then manually selecting the label I want for this particular email, I can, in the glory of Google, drag and drop. You can also drag and drop, and it removes it from your inbox and keeps it within this folder. But we're just going to keep it drag and drop with our label. Now, from here, if I want to filter other messages like my classroom, I can go up to my search bar within my Gmail. Chances are you've used this to search for a particular sender or particular recipient or particular message with certain contents and attachment within it. For this, I want to actually filter out my classroom. So I'm going to click on the arrow. Anything that comes from my Google Classroom, I want to be able to filter. So I'm going to say classroom. And I'm going to go ahead, and now I have the option to create a filter. Before, when I had no criteria input, I didn't have the option, but once you've inputted at least one bit of criteria, it gives you the option. I click this, and now I can get into the nitty-gritty details. I want any classroom emails I get to skip my inbox automatically. This means they will immediately get nested under this Google folder if I so choose, or be in their own little label/folder on the side. Now, I want to apply the label. I want to apply a new label, classroom. I actually do want to nest it. I want to nest it under my big umbrella Google label. So I'm going to say create. Now I don't want to forward it or delete it or add it to spam, or never send it to spam, mark it as important or never mark it as important. And I don't want to categorize it. Now these categories are pretty handy. You have an option in your settings in your inbox to make tabs. These tabs would come along the top of your inbox, and you would have a personal tab for any personal emails that are sent directly to you. Social, for all your social media, so any Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, any social media accounts would immediately go to that tab rather than a front tab, unless you select that to be front. Promotions, if you sign up for special cards or special deals that send you alerts, it will go under there. Updates for specific accounts, and forums is for forums where you have discussions. I don't want to add this to a category, but I do want to click this last little option. I want to apply this filter to anything that matches. So what this means is anything past that matches from Classroom or anything in the future will automatically go here. And we're going to create the filter. Once we let our Gmail reload and filter, we can click underneath our nested label and see that 379 classroom emails have now been removed from my main inbox and moved to their own separate little label, aka folder, aka label, that we can view independently. Now it is bolded and we can see it. If you don't like this option of having a nested one, you could always bring it out and move it to be its own label. Now, one other little extra detail. If I have this larger nested one, the one that nests other labels, if this is, maybe you wanted to do this for your boss's emails, if you want this to be an alert, you can actually color code. Label it a color that is going to be bright and easy for you to see. So I'm going to say red because I'm pretending this Google is my boss and it's not. Now what it does is it actually labels my classroom, but I selected the wrong one. So I'm going to label my Google. So only my Google. And that'll label it within my inbox. Now this one I can change back to a regular neutral color, or I could do something just something simple because it's in its own little area. And that is how you can organize just some basic ways with your Gmail. Happy organizing.